Hello, I'm Armeen Mazda, the CEO of Appeon. I'm very excited today to be able to talk to you about how PowerBuilder has been evolving and how it's going to be a great tool to serve your IT needs for the coming years. Why PowerBuilder? PowerBuilder is a tool that has been around for a long time and has garnered a mass following of over 18,000 customers worldwide. Many Fortune 500 companies are using PowerBuilder, and sometimes we see that it's used as mission critical systems. These are very large and complex systems. Sometimes they're ERP systems, and they're very huge applications with thousands of windows and reports handling a lot of complex business processes. And for these large systems, we oftentimes see that the PowerBuilder teams are anywhere between 15 to 300 developers working on all these systems. And a lot of our customers have more than one application developed in PowerBuilder. Now, PowerBuilder is a very productive tool. And so when you see a team the size of 15 in .NET or Java development world, that may not sound like huge, but in PowerBuilder, one person can do the work of many. So 15 to 300 are very large teams, and many of our customers have teams of this size. PowerBuilder is a very highly productive tool. I'm sure you know that, and it's easy to learn. But just remind you, that's one of the other reasons that makes PowerBuilder such a great tool to rapidly develop business applications. Now, Appeon has greatly evolved PowerBuilder since we took it over from SAP. For those of you that have tried the latest version, PowerBuilder 22, you're aware how much different it is from PowerBuilder version 12.6. But Appeon is committed to continuing to invest heavily in evolving PowerBuilder moving forward because technology is constantly evolving. And so PowerBuilder needs to constantly evolve with that. So let's talk about how PowerBuilder is evolving. For our PowerBuilder product roadmap, we have certain focus areas. A focus area means that that's an area that you're going to see a lot of focus from Appeon. That means that we'll be doing many enhancements over a period of time, not just one feature here and one feature there, but a focus area, you're going to see a whole set of features over multiple versions in that category. So that's a great way for you to get a sense how the product is going to be shaped in the future. So one focus area is obviously core features. Core features are things that serves the basic needs of your systems. It could be something as simple as compatibility with Windows 11 or compatibility with the latest SQL Server Oracle databases, or it can be other core features, for example, for client server. Client server is an area that we're very focused on maintaining and enhancing in PowerBuilder because, as I mentioned, we have many customers that have many existing large systems. And they're not going to rewrite those systems. Those systems oftentimes will remain client server. So core features are very critical to many of our customers, and therefore Appeon puts a big focus in that area. Now, another area that Appeon has been focusing on is modernizing the application user interface. As we move forward, the user interface becomes even more and more critical so that the application users using the systems you have built so that they can remain productive. And that is very critical rather than only focus on features or technology and architecture. Something as simple as user interface is actually very critical. And that's an area where historically PowerBuilder has not put a focus on because it's a database-driven application development tool. The data window is important. Embedded SQL is important. UI historically has not been an area of focus, but since Appeon has taken over PowerBuilder, that has become an area of focus for us. Cloud obviously is another area of focus. PowerBuilder being a client-server development tool that started in the early 90s. The cloud didn't exist in the early 90s, but that is a technology that is going to be the direction of many customers going forward. And so for PowerBuilder to evolve with the way technology is evolving, we need to embrace the cloud. And since Appeon has taken over PowerBuilder, we put a lot of focus on this area. And the last area of focus is developer productivity. After all, the key reason PowerBuilder became successful in the 90s is because it saves you a lot of time and it's easy. And so it's important that we continue to make sure that PowerBuilder is a highly productive and easy tool compared to the other options on the market. Now, the dev productivity is an area that since we took over PowerBuilder, we haven't dealt with yet. We have not done a lot of changes in this area. If you look at the recent versions, we've been first focused on doing the more basic things because they're very urgent. We need to do that so the systems continue to run. We need core features. We need the Windows compatibility. We need to get cloud deployment. Customers cannot wait long time to take their existing systems to the cloud. And so now that we've done a lot of focus on those other areas, at Appeon, we're starting to switch gears and put more focus on developer productivity. So let's take a look at the versions that have been released and what's coming up in the future. So we released the first version of PowerBuilder under the Appeon brand in version 2017, in the year 2017, and we called it PowerBuilder 2017. In the year 2018, we released version R2 and R3. And in 2019, we released PowerBuilder 2019. Now, ever since we took over PowerBuilder, starting from version 2017, we've been working on adding more core features to PowerBuilder. So if you take a look at each version, you'll see we've been adding more and more core features for client server. And we've done that and we'll continue doing that even in the future versions that are going to be coming out in the years 2023, 2024, 2025. Starting in the year 2019 with the PowerBuilder 2019, that was a new major version. Every time we increment the year, that's a new major version. So starting with PowerBuilder 2019, we started putting focus on supporting cloud technologies. So cloud technologies means consuming web APIs, creating web APIs with data window technology, and we've continued in that starting with PowerBuilder 2021, which was released in the year 2021. We revamped PowerServer. PowerServer is our solution to take existing client-server applications and redeploy them or recompile them for internet deployment with cloud architecture. And in version 21, we completely revamped it so that it's much less work to convert your applications. Many customers can now convert their apps in just a few weeks. And we worked on redoing the internal architecture so that it's cloud native. That means that you could run it on, for example, a public cloud like AWS or Azure, or you could run it in a container like Docker and Kubernetes and so on. So the cloud is an area that we'll continue to focus on. So looking into PowerBuilder 2022 revision 2 that'll come out in the year 2023. That's going to have some enhancements to the PowerServer option, and we'll be continuing to enhance that going forward into 2024 and 2025. Now, starting in the year 2020, that's when revision 2 of PowerBuilder 2019 was released. We started putting focus on modernizing the PowerBuilder UI. So we introduced something called UI themes. That's a codeless way to basically like style sheets in HTML. It's similar concept. It lets you apply style sheets to your PowerBuilder application and modernize the UI without having to recode and redesign a lot of things. We also started adding additional controls, like a web browser control, for example. And we have more controls coming and that's on the roadmap. So you're going to see as you get into 2024 and 2025, more UI modernizations are coming, but we've already done some things, including the ribbon bar control. That's great. If you like the Windows Office look and feel, you can achieve that with PowerBuilder today using the ribbon bar control and UI themes. Now, we're going to be starting switching gears and putting more focus on dev productivity. Like I said, when we first took over PowerBuilder, we had to go in order of priority, and you need core features first before you worry about dev productivity. But starting with version 22, we have started to enhance the PowerBuilder IDE. You can see even simple things like in the PowerBuilder IDE has tabbed windows, so it's more like Visual Studio. We've enhanced the search capability in PowerBuilder 22, and it supports deploying to multiple runtimes. So that means a single PowerBuilder IDE, you can choose which version to compile your application for. And we're going to continue enhancing that. In the year 2025, we're looking to do major changes to the PowerBuilder IDE, not just like incremental enhancements to boost the dev productivity and give you a modern code editing experience. So I'd like to also share with you some survey results to let you know what other customers are doing and what is the PowerBuilder situation. So we conduct surveys from time to time to get market research and understand our customer situation well. And this graph here is showing what versions of PowerBuilder our customers are using. And what you can, I think the key point is a lot of customers are on recent versions of PowerBuilder. Okay, so you'll see that we have customers on 2019 R2 and newer, all the way to 22. That represents the bulk of it. And another thing to take away is only about 18% of customers are still using SAP or Sybase versions. So roughly 82% of PowerBuilder customers are on some kind of Appeon version, either 2017 or newer. Another thing I'd like to share with you is we ask customers how satisfied they are with PowerBuilder by version. And that's very critical for us. We need to know what kind of job we're doing in PowerBuilder, what areas we need to improve. And of course, we've collected a lot of feedback, not just a rating scale, but this is an easy way to show you guys what other customers think, and we hope you also feel the same as these results. So a clear thing to take away is, in general, Appeon has been doing a better job as we move forward, and we've done a better job than actually SAP and Sybase based on customer feedback. Customers are more satisfied with the versions after 12.x than the older ones. And in 2019, we see a dip, and that's because when you have a new major version, there is usually major changes done, and sometimes that creates regression bugs or quality issues, and that's very normal. The first major version is always like that, and it goes through a revision process where we keep fixing bugs and enhancing the features. So it's very common that a R2 or an R3 is going to have a greater satisfaction normally than the initial release. But in general, you'll see that when newer versions came out, like PowerBuilder 21 and 22, those are major versions, customers are more satisfied than PowerBuilder 2019. So we keep improving and trying to do a better job. The last thing I want to share with you is, this is very interesting. A lot of customers think that PowerBuilder is a legacy tool and it's only being used and maintain existing client-server apps. That's not true. Over 50% of our customers are developing new applications with PowerBuilder. And as I said, cloud is something that's increasing in popularity, and we have 14+% already starting to reconvert their client server apps as Power Server Cloud. So thank you very much for your interest in PowerBuilder, for coming to this online event to learn more, expand your knowledge about PowerBuilder, and we hope you find this event useful.